Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Chapter 3, Understanding Divisions. And this is italicized once again for understanding that this is from the letter itself. In my bag here, I have a foolproof method for controlling your black slaves. I guarantee every one of you that if installed correctly, it will control the slaves for at least 300 years. My method is simple. Any member of your family or your overseer can use it. I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves, and I take these differences and make them bigger. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes. These methods have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies, and it will work throughout the South. Take this simple little list of differences and think about them. On top of my list is age, but it is there only because it starts with an A. The second is color or shade. There is intelligence, size, sex, size of plantation. I would say sex meaning like the act of love, sex, or gender, not necessarily like a section like SECT, but SEX. Status on plantation, attitude of owners, whether the slaves live in the valley, on the hill, east, west, north, south, have fine hair, coarse hair, or is tall or short. Now that you have a list of differences, I shall give you an outline of action. But before that, I shall assure you that distrust is stronger than trust, and envy is stronger than adulation, respect, or admiration. Anyone who wants to define that word, please feel free to. Adulation. Adulation. Inshallah. It escapes me. The black slave, after receiving this indoctrination, shall carry on and will become self-refueling and self-generating for hundreds of years, maybe thousands. Don't forget, you must pitch the old black male versus the young black male, and the young black male against the old black male. You must use the dark-skinned slaves versus the light-skinned slaves, and the light-skinned slaves versus the dark-skinned slaves. You must use the female versus the male, and the male versus the female. You must also have your white servants and overseers distrust all blacks, but it is necessary that your slaves trust and depend on us. They must love, respect, and trust only us. Okay. Now this is back to the book, not the letter itself. Although this instructional speech was delivered by Willie Lynch on the banks of the James River in the year of 1712, these same tactics are still being applied in the workplace and on the black family in the year 2003 and beyond. Before going any further at this point, we must come to the agreement that at the foundation of the slave makers' thinking was and still is The belief that the Negro male and female must remain divided and ignorant in order that his system may function according to his plans, uninterrupted in an orderly fashion. While we are all involved in the process of breaking the curse of Willie Lynch, we must be sure not to add fuel to the fire that has broken down an entire nation of people. This fuel consists of the constant outside instigation and magnification of our differences. In the process of dividing the black male and the female, the objective of control became easier due to the fact that the slave makers only have a half of a people to manage. This is the reason for the manipulation of differences. Because once you split a people's commonly shared ideas, you can divide the individuals even further by injecting a foreign concept as a solution once they have been split apart. A common example in the lives of black people take place in domestic disputes mediated by so-called white authorities, peacekeepers, or social workers. We invite them into our homes to solve the very problems their foreparents created. These are the descendants of Willie Lynch's people that created and investigated the artificial problems that we constantly wrestle with one another over. Often in the black community, many problems take center stage in the drama, more so when there is a surplus than when there is a shortage. When there is a shortage, the stress is on what type of material benefits can we acquire with a certain level of income. On the other hand, when there is a surplus, the argument between the man and the woman is over the management of the finances. Then comes the systematic mediators instigating the drama played out in the domestic courts. And there you have it. Another black family becoming more confused by Lynch's curse. Okay, next video.